financial professionals, thank you for joining the Brew today, building relationships every week. My name is Jennifer Nadeau, case design specialist here at E4 Insurance Services, welcoming you to the Brew. For those of you tuning in for the first time today, we like to kick off the Brewcast by celebrating what today's National Day is. And today is no different. So today is National New Hampshire Day. It is also National Beer Lovers Day. And from being a former resident in New Hampshire, I know that there's a lot of great microbreweries out in New Hampshire. It is also National Salami Day. Interesting. And last but not least, it is National Neither Rain or Snow Day, which is true for me here today. It's also neither any sunshine today either. But on today's Brewcast, we welcome our very own Bill Anderson. Bill will show us today how to position life insurance retirement plans in a client meeting and how to get your clients to grasp the concept and say yes in less than 20 minutes. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to feel free to use the chat box to share your thoughts or ask questions throughout the Brewcast today. And last but not least, all viewers or participants will be in a drawing for a prize today. So without further ado, Mr. Anderson, welcome to the Brewcast today. So happy to have you, and welcome back from vacation as well.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's always enjoyable to learn things on this call. So thanks for the invite back. And
Absolutely.
What special day of the week or the year is it? I'm always in awe of that. So thank you.
I know. It's always very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's get started, Bill. I know that you have a lot of great content today. And, you know, as you and I are chatting and working together, we talk about specific client demographics or different types of people that are great fits for different types of plans. And I know that one of the topics or concepts or clientele that you like to talk about is an acronym called Henry, and that's what I have on the screen here for everyone today. Could you just take a few moments and talk to us about what exactly that means as we get into the content today?
Sure. Yeah, and I'll throw in some other acronyms, right? Like LIRP and Super Roth and blah, blah, blah. But what is Henry? It stands for High Earning, Not Rich Yet Clients. Right, so it's high income people, usually 30 to 55 years of age, because we want to be in this long enough where the math works and really the deferral makes sense, right? So it's people that are earning $250,000 per year, and quite honestly, they're probably, if they're working for an employer, not on their own, they're maxing out their 401k plans. They're shoving all the money that they can into investments. And they're usually coming to you, the advisor that's on this call today, asking, hey, what else can I do? What else makes sense, right? So that's what Henry stands for. And we're gonna delve into this life insurance retirement plan. Again, it goes by a lot of different names, Super Roth, SLIP, supplemental life insurance plan, etc. So Jennifer, I'll hand it back to you, but yeah, thanks for throwing that on the screen. It's all about people that are in high tax brackets and the whole concept of, should we push some of the taxes off into the future, or should we have no taxes?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. And I think it's a great way to kind of kick off our conversation today and talk through our topic. And you know, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about taxes, and I will jump back to your presentation as well. But I think it's pretty safe to say many of us agree that taxes are going to increase with the national debt at 30 plus trillion and rising. And as we as we look through history, Bill, from top tax rates in the 50s and the 60s, and then decreases in the 80s, and then back up in the 90s, fast forward, changes in the Trump administration, now we're in the Biden administration. All of these could spark their very own spirited discussions, I know, but keeping in mind the sunsetting of the 37% tax change made by Trump that is sunsetting in 2025, how can we help Henry and others like Henry plan for taxes in retirement?
Yeah, really, it's should we be paying the taxes today while we're in a lower tax bracket until January 1st, 2026? The last time this happened in our country's history, the sunsetting of the tax law happened. It has no political risk whatsoever to just let that sunset. So pretty much there's going to be a tax increase for these people that are, today earning $250,000. When we get out to what it could look like in 2026, the brackets are going to be higher. Or if you just look at the proposals that are out there, 400,000 is the magical number, right? So in this world, nothing is certain except death and taxes. Well, here's the idea. Should we pay the taxes today so we don't have to pay them later? Or should we just keep pushing them out? So let's look at the cylinders of money, or what we also call the buckets of money. And what this really is giving you an idea of what it looks like in a client meeting, call it point of sale support. So myself, somebody else from the E4 team, helping you as an advisor share this story quickly, literally in about 10 or 11 minutes with a client. And they go, yep, or no, it's that quick. And I've been showing this picture to people for almost 20 years now, this diagram. So we're looking at different cylinders of money, and then on all cylinders, we're going to look at 4 elements: contributions, accumulations, distributions, and trade-offs. The first cylinder is your qualified money, right? What are we doing there? Contributions are pre-tax. They accumulate tax deferred. Jennifer, hit it. Go boom, boom, boom. Thank you. Distributions are taxable as ordinary income. Trade-offs, you have to wait until 59 and a half, and then at 72, soon to be 75, you have to start taking the money out. The next most popular place that people create wealth is their non-qualified portfolio. These contributions are after tax. They accumulate with tax, they distribute with tax, hopefully capital gains tax only. The trade-off, they're liquid. This is a great cylinder or bucket of money until you get to about $250,000 in size. And then the tax freight of that, right? The accumulation, distribution, the dividends, etc., start to get kind of cumbersome. And that's when your client calls you up and says, hey, favorite financial advisor, what else have you got for me? Well, the next cylinder is tax-free bonds. I know they haven't been very attractive as of late, but, well, I should say for a number of years, but they may actually be coming back into favor again here very soon. What are we doing in tax-free bonds? We're putting in after-tax contributions. They accumulate tax-free, they distribute tax-free, and they're somewhat liquid. However, there is some risk there. You as advisors all know that. The next one is, and think about long-term savings, non-qualified annuities. Some advisors like these, some don't. What I'm talking about in this cylinder, again, is a non-qualified annuity, not inside of that first cylinder of a qualified bucket, right? So contributions are after tax. It accumulates tax deferred, it distributes tax favored, meaning that you've got the basis and then you got, basis here and the gain up above. You could actually annuitize that non-qualified annuity and spread the tax out, right? The trade-off, you can't get at it till 59 and a half. But the good piece is, or the good point of this is, at 72, you don't have to start taking that out. All right, now let's continue the model. So continuing on with contributions, accumulations, distribution, and trade-off, real estate. You can literally, I had a call this morning. The gentleman that I was talking with literally did both types of real estate. The type of real estate where you buy it for an income coming off it, like a rental property, or the buy and hold. What I put up on this model is the buy and hold strategy. After tax contributions, tax deferred growth. When you cash it out, it's taxable capital gains and it's somewhat liquid. The last box is life insurance. And where does it get the name life insurance retirement plan? It's the same concept as Roth, or the same character as Roth, right? What I mean by that is you're putting in after-tax dollars, they grow with no tax, they come out with no tax as long as you follow all the rules. Well, in life insurance, you're putting in after-tax contributions, the accumulations are technically tax deferred, distributions come out tax-free as long as you plan it correctly. That's where you're removing your basis first, right, Jen? And then you're taking loans on your own money, and loans are not reportable as income. The trade-off is that you need 7 to 10 years, right? You need to be in this thing. It is a long-term investment. If it's something, a bucket of money, a cylinder of money that you're just trying to do for 5 years, this is not the appropriate vehicle.
Yeah.
But if it's long-term money, it is, right?
Yes, I often describe it as it needs to bake for a little while before.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So if you lay out all of these cylinders, and this is the fun part of the meeting, hey, client that we're talking to, which one is the best one? And if we've done our job correctly, they kind of go to the far right one and say, I think the life insurance is. Well, I'm going to argue back, in a fun way. Really, the best cylinder of money or bucket of money is this first column, qualified monies. In fact, it's so good that the IRS limits how much you can put into it, right? But it really comes down to this. Click it one more time. It's all about distributions. Wouldn't it be neat to get out to retirement and have some of your monies be in that first cylinder where they're all taxable ordinary income, or right in the middle, and or the life insurance, so the tax-free muni bonds and life insurance where they're tax-free, and then everything really in between. I mean, if you think about your 401k or your SEP or whatever your investment portfolio is, even the non-qualified, you diversify within that account, right? Mm-hmm. This concept is tax diversification. Again, wouldn't it be neat to get out to retirement and have monies in all of these and be able to control to some levels what tax bracket you might be in?
Right.
Now, this is life insurance, right? Mm-hmm. So, Jennifer, what do you know about life insurance? Got to be healthy enough, right?
Correct. Underwriting.
Yeah. So let's go to the next screen. I mean, you look at all of these different options out there. Mm-hmm. It comes down to the math, right? What is the cost of tax versus the cost of insurance? And if you look at underwriting on the left-hand side, you've got, go ahead and click it again, please. You've got perfect health, right? Some carriers say table 1, some carriers say table A, all the way over to the far right side, which is table 20 or table Z, uninsurable. Mm-hmm. And the key is, where do you fall? Right? So when you click this, if let's say that you came in at table 3, well, if we can prove mathematically that the cost of tax versus the cost of insurance relationship still makes sense. So click it one more time, please. And it basically says, there we go. We can prove that the cost of tax is greater than the cost of insurance. Then this idea or concept becomes part of a recommendation.
Yes.
The phone call that I was on with the gentleman this morning, my comments were 17 to 25% go into the life insurance, right? We're not getting all crazy wacko saying everybody needs to buy life insurance with all of their money. This is an investment idea that is part of the tax diversification strategy. And again, it's all about the cost of tax versus the cost of insurance relationship. Absolutely. So that's kind of the summary. But as you know, what I like to do, and I've kind of hinted on this, and many of my E4 partners think the same way. Do you want to do this all on your own? You've got that whole point of sale thing, right? And if you were to just look in the picture the screen where my picture is, You've got your client here, you've got you here, and you've got this just natural friction that happens when you ever try to just show a concept or an idea to a client, right? So literally what we're doing is, instead of having that friction, you're sitting there next to your client, and on this model, upper left-hand corner, the client and advisor sit on the same side of the table. Our team at E4 come in on the other side of the table, and we're sharing asset management, tax management, risk management, asset protection ideas and concepts, right? And all you do is sit there and have fun and ask all the difficult questions that your client hasn't had time to process yet. You ask that right there in the meeting, be it Zoom, be it physically there, or whatever technology of the call. It's really the advisor's relationship and expertise that shines in these meetings.
Yes.
And I know for myself, I know for the partners I've worked with at E4, which is just about everybody in a joint relationship, that's how we operate, right? We're here to help you and your client make decisions. And on top of that, our job is to make you shine. It's not us, right? You have that relationship, and we want to help you look very, very smart for bringing us into the meeting.
Mm-hmm. As a subject matter expert, right, Bill, we just come in, we very objectively talk about the different options and those cylinders of money, correct? And just really help solidify and help educate the client as well.
Yep. And what we will also do is, if you think you like the concept or idea and you want to move forward, we will always describe, here's the steps in how we do this. So nobody's selling, right? We're just basically consultative in nature. And if you want to move forward, boom, 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 here's the next steps of what to do. And it takes all of that sales pressure off of your shoulders. It's not there any longer.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, Bill, before we open it up for questions, can you bring this all together for us and connect the dots before we take comments from the participants?
Sure. Yeah. Who do you have as clients? Let's just go back to the profiling, right? So it's kind of that Henry, high earning, not rich yet clients. Well, the gentleman I talked to this morning, 61 years of age, doesn't plan on retiring for another 14 to 15 years. Guess what? He qualified for this concept too, but it's generally 30 to 55 years of age. They're making good money. They're maxing out the qualified retirement plans, and they're looking for other places to save money. That's a great client to have this conversation with. And then again, in the point of sale model, I promise you, we will not embarrass you. We will make you look like a rock star.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Great closing, Bill. Okay, now is the time for participation. I'd like to remind everyone that you can either unmute your line or use the chat box to ask any questions. As we are giving folks time to do that, I'd like to remind everyone that this brewcast, as well as our whole library of others, can be found to watch on our website at www.e4insurance.com. And Bill, as usual, let's take a moment too to do the drawing right now. Yes. If you could please pick a number between 1 and 23.
12, please.
Number 12. And the winner is Evan Wilson. Evan, congratulations. Be on the lookout for an email from us, and that will be with a CE voucher and also a Starbucks gift card. And that's coming from all of us at E4 Insurance Services. So congratulations, Evan. Bill, I just want to point out that when you started the presentation, we talked about the buckets of money, and I love how you turn that into the cylinders of income. It's such a different way to talk about it than what we've heard in the industry before. And cylinders of money buckets of money to cylinders of income. I really think that resonates with people, and I think it's a powerful message too.
Well, thank you.
I am not seeing any
Hi,
questions.
Jennifer, this is Dan. I'd be interested, Bill, how do you handle I mean, sometimes it gets into whole life, indexed universal life, variable life. How do you handle that piece of this bucket of money?
Very good question, Dan. The answer is yes, and yes, and yes. Right. So we are agnostic to the product. It's really what makes the most sense. I would say that the younger clientele probably lean more towards a variable or an indexed train of thought. And then the older folks, call it 50, 55-year-old, they may tend to lean more towards a UL or a whole life sort of portfolio. But it really also comes down to the philosophies of the advisor that we're working with and what are they looking towards. When we're talking about this concept, we're very generic. We never, have you heard any discussion here about a carrier? No. In fact, did you really even hear anything about the death benefit piece, right? No, it has nothing to do with that. It's all about the proper design, buying the smallest amount of insurance possible, the maximum premiums for the smallest death benefits that we can create so that this makes the best mathematical sense for you and your client. So again, product wise, Dan, they're all great products. We just need to make sure that the products we are using are friendly towards this concept and have special tweaks within them from wash loan provisions and other sorts of things that benefit the client long term.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for the question, Dan, as well. Any other questions out there? I am not seeing any. So Bill, we are approaching time too. So I'd like to thank you again for such a great message, really giving us the concept, helping with client identification, and also bringing it home as to how to educate our clients and also take the application and move it forward. So appreciate you and thanks for joining us again today.
Well, thank you. Been fun.
Great. Tune in next Wednesday as Harlan Akula with Fairway Mortgages is on with us for a special 30-minute brew as he discusses reverse mortgages. So great conversation we'll be having with Harlan next week. I'd like to thank everyone again for joining, and we will see you next Wednesday on The Brew. Thank you for joining.